Undead, showing off our way of playing Red-Eyes. So Red-Eyes Fang with Chain was recently released, and since it is a searchable way to remove our opponent's monsters during their turn, we have built the entire deck around using it. So for those that are unaware, it can equip itself to a Red-Eyes you control, and it will let that Red-Eyes attack twice on monsters during each battle phase. And more importantly, you can send it to the grave, and since it's a trap, this is a quick effect, at any point to equip your opponent's effect monster to the Red-Eyes that the Fang was originally equipped to. That Red-Eyes monster will copy the equipped monster's attack and defense, and just take a note, you should be careful when you steal your opponent's monster if it has a small attack value, because then if you steal it, your Red-Eyes is also now going to have that small attack value. So yeah, since this is the main card of our deck, we want to always have a Red-Eyes monster on the field by some way or another. To achieve this, we play Red-Eyes Revival Traps at a 2-1 split, as well as Red-Eyes Insight, which can send our Red-Eyes monsters from deck to grave in order for them to be revived during our opponent's turn. After sending a Red-Eyes monster from deck to grave, Red-Eyes Insight will search us for a Red-Eyes spell or trap. These could be the Revival Traps or the Fang with Chain itself. It can also search for our 1 copy of Red-Eyes Fusion, which is a way to put Red-Eyes monster on the field without actually having to wait for our opponent's turn to revive it, as well as a way to fill our grave full of more Red-Eyes monsters to revive with more traps later. So it'll summon for us Red-Eyes Slash Dragon using materials from the deck, and we don't care too much about its actual effect. However, the fact that it is a Red-Eyes monster being on the field to use with Fang with Chain. But its effect can be useful, at least, for negating effects that target cards you control by sending an equipped card you control to the grave, which Fang with Chain can easily help achieve. Since we have a lot of revival and not many main deck monsters, we only need to play 1 copy of Red-Eyes Fusion, as it is easily searchable anyway with Insight. The next main deck monster we have is actually Gearfried, which has a fantastic interaction with Fang. So you can equip Fang to it, then use Fang to equip your opponent's monster to it, and then send the equipped monster to the grave with Gearfried's effect upon equip to destroy one of your opponent's back row. This play will have your opponent losing 2 cards, their monster and their back row, and have you losing only 1 card, the Fang. This consistent 2-for-1 is the best method by which to win the grind game or to set up for an OTK. Breakthrough skill comes in the same selection as Red-Eyes Fang with Chain, so if you have one, you should probably have the other, and that's why we played in the deck, at least partly for the video. But more importantly, the ability to negate your opponent's monster effects while not clogging your own back row slots like Fiendish Chain does makes this card extremely useful in this deck. Additionally, if your opponent knows that you have Fang, they might try to bait it out, and Breakthrough skill can make it so they can't bait out your Fang. You negate their thing, you know, and they're not baiting you out, right? Cosmic Cyclone has 2 purposes in this deck. Obviously, right, it banishes back row. Obviously a good card, right? But secondly, the fact that it pays you 1,000 life points makes it easier to activate the ZEXAL weapon skill, which allows you to much more easily to make rank 4 plays and go for game. For our extra deck, I already mentioned the Red-Eyes Slash Dragon, but we also have Red-Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. With all our reviving effects, it's pretty likely that once in a duel we'll be able to have 2 level 7s on field to summon it. It won't happen always, but it can happen. It happens enough to warrant playing the 1 copy. Burning your opponent for 250 damage every single time they activate a card effect has legitimately won me and Weatherman a pretty heavy amount of games. Also, it can't be destroyed by card effects while it has material. That's kind of more important than the burn. We also have a rank 4 toolbox, Excalibur, to get over big threats that our Red-Eyes wouldn't regularly be able to get over. Daigusto Emeral can re-summon your Red-Eyes Black Dragon from grave, and it can also just refill your resources to draw you cards. Sin can clear your opponent's field so you can just attack for game, and Diamond Dire can get rid of problematic things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get rid of for some reason or another. What's cool about Utopia? If you are unaware of this skill, when your life points go below 2,000 or at 2,000 exactly, you're playing Yuma and Astral, but you will be fused into Super Saiyan, Yuma, and Astral. And then Utopia Ray will be added to your extra deck. You can summon Utopia, overlay Utopia Ray on top of it, increase its own attack to 4,000 and your opponent's attack to 0, and then attack them for game. Just make sure that you remember that you can only activate that effect when you have 1,000 or less life points left. But you will become Super Saiyan Yuma at 2,000. So just make sure you're aware of this. As it currently stands, there aren't really any cards in this deck that are actually replaceable. You could make a case for Breakthrough Skill, but you can get that in the same box as Red-Eyes Fang with Chain anyway. So if you are free to play, the only option really is to just be patient while Konami figures out how to not alienate their free-to-play players. But hey, let's get into the game, shall we? So our first game is going to be against Onomats. I believe they had a pretty poor hand, but they end up bringing it back later on in the game. They Breakthrough Skill us, believing that we have an equip in hand, but we didn't actually have an equip in hand. They should have saved it. But they're comboing off now at least. They summon Photon Strike Bouncer. It should be noted that when you activate Red-Eyes Fang with Chain to target your Undead, if you do it in response to something, you won't be able to use the effect right away. But if you do something on summon, you are going to be able to hold priority. So you turn your toggle on if you want to suck something up on summon. So you turn your toggle on, equip it, and then upon resolution it will ask you if you want to use the effect. So make sure you put your toggle on if you want to suck something up on summon, which is what we're going to do here. And then we're going to be a 27 attack. We're going to attack, use Red-Eye Spirit to revive our Red-Eyes, and they're going to floodgate us during the battle phase, but that's alright, because we are still in a good position. But they're going to use Onomata Play to search for themselves Gaga Head, the best follow-up play in the game. Unluckily for them, we have a copy of Red-Eyes Fang with Chain that we searched. So on summon, I'm going to steal his Constellar Ptolemy M7. He's going to destroy my Red-Eyes, and I didn't explain this in the beginning portion of the video, but Gearfried can actually send one of your equip cards to the grave to revive Red-Eyes. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to go for game. Yep, they just scoop it up, knowing that we've won the duel. Okay, so now we're going against Hero Stall, the most toxic deck in the whole game. But our hand is pretty decent. We have Red-Eyes Fusion. We could have searched for it if we didn't open it. We have a couple back row to set. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. We're gonna equip right away to see if we can bait anything. Just trying to attack. They Canadia us. We negate it with Red-Eyes Slash. They Fiendish us. But thankfully, because they Fiendish us in response to their own Canadia, we are not going to be affected by Fiendish when we flip ourselves back up. Then we're going to Raigeki break us. I'm going to use Return of Red-Eyes to revive Red-Eyes. He's going to summon Canadia. I'm going to flip up my guy. He's going to Floodgate it. It's annoying, but I can use Return of Red-Eyes to revive my own Red-Eyes. I'm going to Xyz summon. This is actually a lot more detrimental to him than he is going to know. Every time he activates a card, he takes 250 burn. Even if it doesn't resolve. So he's going to activate Stratos to pop our back row, and we're going to Breakthrough Skill it. So he doesn't get to pop our back row, but he does get to take the damage. He's going to Ecol and take more damage. Alright, I'm just going to attack, and now look at us. I can't attack him directly, but now look, he's got 100 life points. Guess what happens if he activates a card? He dies. And upon realizing this, he gives up. We just beat the most toxic deck in the game. So now we're going against a newly fresh off the ban list Fur Hire deck, and we had a pretty poor hand. Thankfully we did at least have the breakthrough skill, so we can't combo off this turn. But yeah, he can at least do some damage to us. We're gonna need a pretty good top deck. Thankfully we got Red-Eyes Fusion, which is, you know, it's serviceable. So we summon Red-Eyes Slash, we go to attack. He has World Legacy Clash, so his beat is gonna survive, so he's gonna be able to make plays next turn. Except for that, we do have the Fang with Chain. He searches for Wiz to negate back row, but upon resolution, I'm going to steal his monster. I will be small, and he's going to tribute summon Dinah. He's going to go over me. However, Slash also can revive whatever was equipped to it. So I'm going to use ZEXAL Weapon, activate Red-Eyes Insight, sending a level 4. He's going to use Mayhem to summon his beat. I'm going to add Red-Eyes Fang with Chain. I'm going to use my set spirit to resummon my own Gearfried. With 2 level 4s, I summon Utopia. Utopia summons Utopia Ray, and you know how it goes from here. GG. So yeah, this deck is pretty versatile. In testing, Weatherman and I discovered that it's way better than we thought it was. But yeah, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. If you like the video, and share as well. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys.